Marvin, good morning to you.
Good morning.
I love the style of your hair today. Yeah, looks beautiful. You look like a pop icon. An Afro pop. Yeah,
I am.
great.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
And Saturday is the birthday of my good friend, who is the head of pharmacy, the Boku Presbyterian Hospital, Salifu Combat. And this one is from me, also your wife, Flora, and the rest of the family. Have a good time. I'll be doing this till Friday. Saturday is a birthday, so we'll have some big celebration. Don't be shaking your head. Charlie, what's up? What did go on? And
let's do the newspaper review. That's what's going on. We have the Daily Graphic, the Finder, the Times, the Gold Street Business, there's the Observer, the Daily Dispatch, the Daily Statesman, the Daily Guide, and the Today newspaper. So we've got quite a number of papers. Let's start with the Daily Graphic newspaper. Front page, here we go. Civil servants willing to do politics must bow out. Full story in page 16 in today's paper. 5 arrested in lower disc of clash. Dismissed University of Education Winneba Vice Chancellor storms campus to address press conference. Police disrupt events. Governments will protect local firms. President Akufo-Addo promises to address unfair competition. Story by our very good friend Doche Kobla Akulobeto in Shama. Center spread of the paper, Ghana best investment destination in Africa, according to our Vice President. Pan-African Museum established in Sekondi, Takoradi. That story also filed by Doche Kobla Akulobeto. And then the back page of the Daily Graphic. St. Monica's College of Education gets new lecture and residential halls. And Ministry imposes 2 months ban on industrial trawlers is another story on the back page of the Daily Graphic newspaper. Let me just continue with the Finder. Front page of the Finder today. Cocoa suffered under NDC. Production fell from 1 million tons to 750,000, according to President Akufo-Addo. My appointment was a big risk the president took. That's Chief of Staff Fremo Parry disclosing it's in the paper this morning. Now, the UEW staff files lawsuit seeking to remove Professor Afo-Bruni as Vice Chancellor. So the situation at the University of Education went about not just in terms of the graduation, but even leadership is still one that we're battling with. And this is more of I told you so, because we saw this coming from the very beginning when this started playing out. Ghana is investment destination of choice in Africa, according to Vice President. And that's what's on the front page of the Finder newspaper by way of headlines. Roland?
Yeah, so I have a couple of the newspapers in. So let me do the Daily Dispatch newspaper. We have on the front page, as we have it, Auditor General accuses Finance Ministry of paying Kroll associate $1 million for no work done. It's on the front page. Accra's 88th Founders Day, and I know Uncle Ben Efson is an old boy of Accra, so he's biased, so he has it there. But it's a great school, by the way. I have to put it rightly. Liberia Vice President confirms participation in 2019 HACSA Summit. It's a summit Mamavi knows so well. MPA boss on ensuring safety in use of LPG cylinder usage. That's also on the front page. And anything you want to know also on the inside is, we'll win 2014, 214 of 275 seats. 270, okay, and we'll win 195 of 275 according to the NDC. Turn to page 9 for the answer, it says, and page 9 is there. And it's talking about NDC's, confidence about winning seats. Okay. In the 2020 election, by the way. We also have the Today newspaper. Tarzan punches Akufo-Addo. It's also on the front page, and CJ talks tough. But we also have Central Regional Vice Chair, MPP fights back, result of smear campaign. And we have other stories also dominating the front pages. But let's do the Daily Guide. That's the Today newspaper. The Daily Guide has on the front page, Nana fires Mahama over crocodile tears. And we all know that the president a tour in the western region. He'll be going to the central region as well, and it's all part of his tour of the two regions. Already in the western region with some of the great men and women serving in his government. Chief of Staff honored. President cut short for over $77 million Kidatao factory in Shama. Part of the tour. And then I have the center spread of the Daily Guide. I hope we have it. Great stories there. So some of the great stories published on the center spread of the Daily Guide starts this way. I don't allow sex during fasting periods. And the story is attributed to Hima Mercy. R. Kelly's crisis manager resigns for personal reasons and is in the person of Daryl Johnson. All right. The new publisher has on the front page, Avoke heads UEW again as injunction stops Afo-Broni. Has two pictures of two personalities, Professor Afo-Broni, Reverend Father by the way, and Professor Mauto Avoke. Other stories there. Stop the crocodile tears over Coco. Nana tells Bahama. And Nanado can't fight corruption, according to Dr. Park. The story is also there. And Sakawa boys dig human parts from Presbyterian Hospital. How to make money using the ritual way.
Okay, let's do the last three papers, the Ghanaian Times, the Ghanaian Observer, and the Daily State. Okay, the very last one will be the Gold Street Business, but the Ghanaian Times, front page of the paper, hepatitis B, C infections leading causes of death in Ghana. Sports Minister faces Parliament today over budgets. Nation's ill-fated AFCON campaign. All right, so today we're here for the first time because the budget has been kept a secret. We didn't know how much we took to AFCON. It was just people speculating. And after that, very poor showing. We're facing the issues. If we had won the cup, then who would care about budgets, I guess, but now we do. So the sports minister is in Parliament today to talk about our AFCON participation and, most importantly, the budgets. Pass new legal profession bill. CJ urges Parliament. Press comments, president, is it president? As in our president commending Boris Johnson as British Prime Minister. Tension mounts at the University of Education. Professor Voke Storm's campus seeks reinstatement as Vice Chancellor. Center spread of the paper, details of that Professor Voke's statement and him going to campus yesterday. President Akufo-Addo inaugurates Ghana Gas Office Complex is also another story in the center spread. And 5 immigration officers honored for dedication to duty. And I think it's just appropriate because of what they did for me to look in the paper and mention their names. So these 5 immigration officers intercepted volumes of petroleum products being smuggled through an unapproved routes along the borders of the Akanu in the Volta region, where they were yesterday honored by the Ghana Immigration Service for their dedication to duty. They were presented with a certificate, an undisclosed amount of money, and a plaque each by the CGI Deputy Comptroller General and the head of the Border Management Department. Just looking for their names. They are the Akanu Sector Commander, Chief Superintendent Godson Atobra, an officer in charge of grounds, Assistant Superintendent Augustus Ochre, Inspector Samuel Ampofo, and Assistant Inspector Kofi Asante. Assistant Immigration Control Officer 1, Israel Gidisu, was also honored for his commitment at ensuring environmental cleanliness in and around the GIS headquarters in Accra. Wow.
And we want them to check.
No. Seriously.
Sanitation.
Yeah, of course, it's very important. Let me mention his name again.
Please mention.
Assistant Immigration Control Officer 1, Israel Gidisu, honored for his commitment to ensuring environmental cleanliness in and around the GIS headquarters in Accra. So congratulations to all these men for their work. We hope that many others would learn from these 5 so that they can do the right things. Back page of the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Assembly responds to yours outbreak in, is it Chledom? A team of health officials from the Lower Manyakrobo municipality in the Eastern region on Monday organized a mass injection and dispensary exercise in Chledom, a farming community for students and residents who are reported to be infected with yours. Details of that on the back page of the paper. Yeah, there you have it. Agbogbolishi market ruled to be dualized is also another story. The Ghanaian Observer front page, Akufo-Addo fires Mahama over zero agric cocoa record. Ghana is best investment destination in Africa, attributed to the Vice President. Stop holding yourself as UEWVC. Staff seeks court order to stop Afo Bruni, and reporters couldn't locate him yesterday. He was apparently nowhere close to the campus. Dangerous LPG cylinder safety compromise. Chief of Staff is 2019 model African woman. Let's do the Daily Statesman newspaper. No doomsday under this government, says Ghana Gas, but we've heard in certain places that we should, particularly with the issue with the PDS and the Roland, the smaller power producing companies. How do we call them?
The independent power producers.
Exactly. Because of the debts, we've been asked to stand well. You know, when they say in a year. Yeah, that's what we've heard. In fact, that's what I have heard. Akufo-Addo took a bold gamble by appointing me. Okay, so that's the Chief of Staff again. What did you do to make life better? Akufo-Addo dares Mahama to show how NDC gave cocoa a boost. And that will be it in terms of what's on the front page of the Daily Statesman newspaper today. You're doing the Gold Street business?
Yes, let me do the Gold Street business. The Gold Street business has its banner headline, recent shake-up, GRA justified by 2018 Auditor General's report. Tax evasion also is a stamp there. You look at, you see it on your screen, the Gold Street business newspaper. Also on the front page of the newspaper, the Gold Street business. Business confidence dampens in June. The Security and Exchange Commission earmarks 21 fund managers for possible collapse as 46 of existing 128 firms face major regulatory actions. You also have some great forex figures for you, just in case you want to know how the dollar is exchanging or the cedi is being exchanged for the dollar and vice versa. The pound sterling is also there, still at a buying rate of some 6.6. 1 and a selling rate of some 6.62. The dollar is still hovering between, respectively, the buying and selling rates 5.25 and 5.26. Now we have black marketings. Black marketings. Sometimes the black market you can get it for 5.4, depends, 5.35. Okay. We tend to have lots of dollars. So
you said it's what? The exchange rate is what?
Like if I have the formal one, if you go to bank, the banks, the commercial banks, the average one you're likely to get, they'll buy it from you at 5.2. And if you want to buy, you buy the same thing.
Oh, same figure?
5.2.
Oh, okay.
But when you want to go and buy the dollar, when you want to go and buy the dollar, it will be sold to you at 5.26. But I'm saying on the black market, when you go and exchange your dollar for cedi, you get it at 5.35 or sometimes 5.4.
Yes, Mr. Black Market.
Yeah. So it also means that if somebody is giving you 5.35 or 5.4 for a certain quantity of dollar notes, they will sell it more or higher to make their profit. So this one is, of course, it's the going rate.
Black market quotes there as well?
No, they don't have. I'm telling you what's the reality.
Okay.
No, it's not from my head. It's from the experiences people have told me. Because I don't have dollars to be buying from, to be exchanging, you know.
No,
because me nibbing, you know, I don't have it.
The city's been a bit stable?
Oh, I should say yes. Yeah, because we had some turmoil January, February, March.
But the dollar should still get out of the 5 range. You know, it's still 5 point something.
Yeah.
It should still come down. Yeah, so that, you know, those of us who want to go and borrow, we can be
Well,
confident at it. Because right now, like,
you have a
the
point.
5 point whatever.
That is
It's a
that's
challenge.
that's an ideal thinking.
Yeah.
You're not, somebody will say you're not idealist. You have to be a realist. So you go to places like, you know, where the airport's SEP's office is, just after the airport roundabout. We have the Goro Boys there. You go to Newtown. You also go to Mamobi. You go to Tudu area.
You own them. You seem to be.
No, I'm telling you. And if you go to Tema after Community 1, you're heading to sites. You know,
and all
as
these
if going
people
to.
told you.
I've
like
seen. No, people told me. I've seen people.
Yeah.
So
some of us drive there all the time, but we don't see where you're
so let me tell you.
Okay, any stories that you want to?
Yes. Yesterday, one of the stories that caught my eye before the close of the news day was the press conference that was convened by Professor Mauto Avoke. And we know the former Vice Chancellor, who ultimately, we know how he left office.
He was ousted.
Okay. According to what now the rulings are from the courts, ousted, so to speak. But it looks like it's, they say that when two elephants fight, is the grass that suffers. Ultimately, there seemed to be this back and forth between an old regime and a new regime, or an instated regime and then an old one. But it is the students and the rest of the academic staff or the administrative staff of the University of Education Winneba that will suffer. We've gone there to have some great interaction with the students. The last time
you were there.
The last time the school was closed because of agitations and the concern that had been raised about perceived victimization of some academic staff, some administrative staff, and even some student heads of various bodies on campus. But I think the Ministry of Education now needs to make the proper interventions to ensure that, one, there's continuous teaching and learning of the school, and also the objective for which the school was established is well achieved in the current day. It's not boding well for a good school like that has churned out numerous people who have filled various positions in education to be in a position where they can't function efficiently. Two, we've had rulings from the court, decisions of the court that looks like they're not being adhered to. And I don't think that as a democratic country, practicing the so-called democratic dispensation we've had in the Fourth Republic, we're setting good examples. It also means that through the machinations of individuals at the back room or behind the scenes, if there's a change in government at any point in time, everybody or anybody can take some law into their own hands and start backstabbing people and throwing people out of office anyhow they like, whether through improper administrative procedures or using even laid down regulations to do that. And we have to set the good examples as a country for the institutions that we govern or publicly we tend to supervise. What has been done with this UEW case is a sad one. There had been warnings that had been coming from now the head of the Faculty of Law, the University of Ghana, Professor Akufo-Addo.
Because one time he used to be Professor Moka's lawyer.
Exactly. There was an incident that happened.
So many issues. He wrote
there was supposed to be an invest teacher, and the president
was there.
Went to supervise them.
To this man
and before the invest teacher, I remember 12 hours, if not about a half day before, and even the morning of that invest teacher, he said, not as a warning, but just as a caution, that what was going to be done, it was going to set a bad precedent. The president went there and supervised that. I don't know whether that's a good example or not, but from all the things that have been happening, it looks like it was not a good example. It means that any president from now can just take a decision on his own to go and preside over a ceremony that ultimately in the future we will know not the position of it. And so far, whatever has happened has shown us that it was not legal.
This is just flying in our faces, isn't it? And I listen. We don't know where we are right now. We simply don't know. What we do know is the fact that They were supposed to have been a graduation ceremony, which has now been postponed because there's no council in place, and so the management and the academic board of the University of Education Winneba postponed indefinitely its 2018-2019 students' graduation ceremony due to the absence of a governing council. The one that existed expired, I think, 17th of July, and as of like 19th of July when they issued a statement, there was no governing council in place, so they couldn't even graduate. So they've got many issues with the University of Ghana, but most critical, not the University of Ghana, I beg your pardon, the University of Education, Winneba. Most critical is the leadership crisis that they seem to be in now. So we'll see how there's in the meantime, yesterday, Richard Kojinyako reported that there was heavy police security there on the campus. We will be gauging the mood today and we will report to you what is latest. Do we have about a minute to check out what's on myjoyonline.com? Yes, that's it. So on myjoyonline.com, take further legal actions to entrench freedom. That's Tarzan to the Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association and others. Non-economic factor affecting Ghana's economic development. Vigilantism law will not achieve much. That's a Sedo Enketia in the face of the passage of this law. Details of that on the page. Section of Legon-Okponglo Road temporarily closed. Ghana Gas, Akufo-Addo Commission's new operational headquarters. Mass production of lawyers. Forget it. CJ says it ain't happening under her watch. But is that the arguments, by the way? I'm not sure the argument has been mass production. GSE gets new acting managing director, Eko Afeji. SEC puts 21 investment firms under forensic audits. Got many other stories. Amidu lashes out as Yao Boabeng lashes out at Yao Boabeng as someone because we know that he had criticized his office in a recent comment. So we're good. I haven't read this yet, but you can go to myjoyonline.com.
It's one of the epistles from that
So you've read this one?
I've read it. I read it. Fully read it. Anyway.
All right. Today is 24th of July 2019, but a day today in the year 2012, we lost a former president. That's John Evans Atamels. It's been 7 years. We will remember him today.
I remember that day.
You remember that day?
I was on my way to.
So he died at the 37 Military Hospital. That's where he was taken. There will be more on this a bit later on here on our show.
Okay, so we have another viewer, Blueprints. He's watching us from Akufo-Addo, Kitime constituency, and
Akufo-Addo.
Yeah, okay, Akufo-Addo.
Yo,
he's watching us from Ifiakuma. Did I pronounce it well? Ifiakuma.
Okay, I hope I got it right. Look at me doing all this tune on. Stay with us. We've got many conversations on our show today. First,
Blueprints. Enjoy your day.
Sports.